Another case study we had from Shapurji and Palanji. This was in Amravati in Andhra Pradesh, where they were doing a housing project. So there again they wanted to start doing 5S, and they made a commitment that they will keep the work site well organized and well maintained. So their main objective was to identify and eliminate waste and create well organized workspaces. So the methodology adopted there was, they had several training sessions for staff and labor, and then they had done the 5S audits in an interval of 10 days, starting with the red tag and so on. Here you can see the picture of the workman being given a training session. Normally you can combine this with the toolbox talks and so on. And all the equipment, tools, they were all properly kept sorted out, and the process was communicated to the labor and staff again and again in a number of different ways, so that the picture, the message went in very strongly, and they were all following it voluntarily. And once they were practicing 5S, they found it was quite easy to find items such as fittings and tools and tackles and so on, which they were finding it quite difficult to locate before starting 5S. The housekeeping became very nice. They were able to get better productivity, and the red tag area, they were able to recover materials. For example, some plywood which earlier on would have gone completely into scrap, that became recoverable, and unwanted plastic and so on used to go into waste. So you have a clear cut sorting into useful items and not so useful items. So the summary of the study was the considerable improvement in efficiency of the constructional aspects, waste reduction by being able to recover usable items from scrap, and then the whole area became quite neat by well stacked materials. So there are a number of different advantages which different people are able to find by doing 5S. So this site had definitely found good value by doing 5S. The next case study we have from L&T JV with Singapore company for doing underground metro work. This was right in the middle of Bombay, in Mumbai. Is near Sakinaka, near the airport. I have been to the site. Very highly congested, very limited workspace, and they had to do 5S to organize the site quite well to generate working space. So they had a lot of delays earlier in locating materials, because limited workspace, something had to come from a bigger storage yard kept away from the site. So all that could be properly streamlined, and the searching time that got reduced substantially. And they also generated procedures for how to stack materials and how to keep it with proper house cleaning and good cleanliness. Being in the middle of Mumbai there, a lot of traffic all around, lot of dust and dirt generated, but in spite of all that, they could keep the place neat and clean and well shined, and by using 5S. One very good thing I liked in that site was using signboards with local language. This, you see a board here in Hindi and Marathi. It says Kriya Vidhi or Arth. That means the process and the meanings. The local workmen, they need to understand what you mean by sort, set in order, shine, and so on. So the local language explanations were a great help, and the labor came on board much more easily to understand and follow the processes, the 5S processes. One example was, they had these rebars which were stacked separately, and they were used color coding for the various diameters. So immediately you can make out which diameter bar was stored where, and by properly moving materials to the work site at the right time, using a Kanban process, they could save time and save space also. And waste was well minimized by using the materials properly, by stacking them, by identifying the right materials. Many times when you are not able to find the right material or item in the hurry of doing things, you use the wrong one and consequently you get some waste. But if you know exactly where it is stored and you are able to access the right item, then waste can be minimized. So they had gained good benefits by doing that, and all the machinery were well maintained, well inspected, and they could pride they took pride that they were an L&T company, and all their items were being stored and kept in good working order. And they also could get easy check on inventory in stores. They had a big signboard in the stores which showed exactly what items were kept, how much stock, all that. So checking the safety equipment, having daily routines, there were also many other examples. So the main advantages which they gained were reduction in storage time, much better housekeeping, even though they were working in a very congested place, better utilization of space, and reduced search time for materials, equipment, and so on. So even the passers-by, who used to pass by, they used to admire the way they were keeping, their materials and equipment. So good housekeeping and safety standards, improved productivity by, better organizational efficiency, and long-term cost savings, because they could recover a lot of items from the scrap which they were finding in the red tag area. And many times, when you don't store properly, the materials and tools, they get damaged. So they found that the unwanted damage was coming to be much less than what they had earlier. So very tangible, discernible savings and advantages by practicing 5S in this site. The last case study we have was in a place in Pune, a place for Emerson Process Management India by Shapurji Palanji. So here again they wanted to improve the work efficiency and get the workmen to adopt better work practices. So here they had an excellent idea. Whenever the labor was leaving at the end of a shift or for lunch, they had to carry one unwanted item, and when they exited the site, at the place where they go and punch their cards, there are different bins, color-coded bins kept there. So the scrap, which is unwanted scrap, recoverable scrap, useless scrap, plastic, steel. So they had different bins like that with different color codes, and the labor used to put the items in the right place. So much so that the labor started taking pride. If they found one of their people going out without carrying something, they used to pounce upon him. Where is your material? So, they go back, pick up some scrap and come back with that. So, nobody would leave the site for lunch or shift ending unless they carried something. They put it in the right place. And here again, they had signboards in the local language, which the labor could understand easily, empathize with that and adopt that. So, very good practice, and their waste, minimization, waste recovery was again a very high order, and they used to conduct frequent audits, and I found that some places, they even had scores above 70. That indicated a keen desire for doing 5S voluntarily with self-discipline, and they had regular audits, and even the office areas, I had been there, they were very clean, well maintained, and the red tag area was well identified, and people used to know that, and good display of various kinds of charts and route locations and so on. So it was a very well good usage of visual practices, having charts, having color coding, having messages for the local people in the local language. And many materials, they could actually repair and reuse, particularly formwork materials, and the overall cleanliness became much better with the practice of 5S. And the workman culture, the morale of the workmen started improving by this kind of practices. They used to take pride in bringing the waste material out from the site and also keeping things neat and clean. So that's again, something which is good for the labor. And once that morale improves, their productivity improves, quality improves, and safety also improves. So that's a very good example we had with the Pune site. So I hope you all had a good glimpse of 5S, the basic definitions, the methodologies of practice, And then finally, we had a number of case studies where you could see how people were starting 5S, how implementing 5S, and how they used to reap substantial benefits by practicing 5S. So I hope you will all learn to do the same in your own project sites and also in your own homes by yourself. All the best. Thank you.